All right, so for this deep dive, you've brought some really interesting stuff on green witchcraft.
Yeah.
Excerpts from The Green Witch, I think it's called.
A green wish, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And what's really cool is how it focuses on like a personal connection with nature.
Absolutely.
It seems less about the rules and more about, you finding your path.
It's fascinating how green witchcraft doesn't have to be like tied to any religion.
Yeah.
You can blend it with your existing beliefs.
Right.
And that makes it, I think, very adaptable.
Yeah.
And I think that's what draws a lot of people to it.
It's super interesting, that flexibility. The book even mentions like green witches drawing inspiration from mythology.
Yeah.
But not necessarily, worshiping deities.
Right.
It's more about tapping into that primal energy of the earth itself.
Right. It's that direct connection to the planet that seems to define it.
Yeah.
And from what I'm gathering here, this connection influences how green witches approach magic.
Okay, so instead of like picturing someone in a robe chanting spells, how does this describe like a green witch's approach to magic?
It's described as less casting spells and more like recognizing the inherent magic in everyday life.
Oh, interesting.
So think, brewing herbal tea with a specific intention,
Okay.
like for healing,
Yeah.
or creating a harmonious home environment to foster that positive energy.
Yeah.
The book actually says, magic is learning to harmonize yourself with the forces of nature and understanding how they flow through your life.
That's a really cool way to put it. So it's not about trying to control nature, but like working in harmony with it.
Exactly. The book suggests that, by being so in tune with nature, it naturally guides a green witch towards a more ethical way of living.
So if we're talking ethics, how does this address that? Like, does it have like a code of conduct?
It doesn't lay out like specific rules, but it emphasizes the interconnectedness of everything, And it argues that when you're aware of that interconnectedness, it becomes difficult to act against the well-being of the whole.
Okay.
That
makes sense. It's like if you, understand how your actions impact, the entire ecosystem, you naturally want to make choices that benefit, everyone.
Right. Exactly. And speaking of choices, you mentioned you were curious about the tools and techniques.
Yes.
What grabbed you there?
Well, it mentions empowering cleaning products with intention.
Uh-huh.
And that really, I was like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, it's like infusing the act of cleaning with a specific purpose.
Okay.
So instead of just scrubbing away dirt, you're also clearing out negative energy.
Yeah.
And setting a positive intention for the space.
So it's not just about physical cleanliness.
Yeah.
But creating a kind of spiritual purity as well.
Right. And they have specific techniques too, like broom purification,
Okay.
which isn't just sweeping,
Right.
but like actually using the broom to cleanse the energy
Okay.
of your home. And there's even a recipe for room purification incense. It's got frankincense, copal, and lavender to clear out that stagnant energy.
That's so interesting. So are there any other tools mentioned?
Oh, absolutely. They mention a simple cup of water,
Okay.
representing the element of water,
Okay.
a sharp knife or scissors for harvesting plants,
Uh-huh.
and a stang or forked staff, which is often decorated with natural elements.
So even everyday objects can hold like a symbolic meaning and be incorporated into this.
Exactly. And then there are power bags, which are little pouches filled with meaningful natural objects to carry around. So things like stones,
Yeah.
acorns,
Oh, wow.
pine cones, anything that holds personal significance for the green witch.
What's the purpose of those?
They act as talismans, like keeping those grounding, natural energies close at hand.
Okay, yeah.
It's very personal and portable way to connect with nature.
Yeah. What's interesting to you about those tools?
Mm.
I mean, it seems like they're all about creating a tangible connection to nature,
Yeah.
even in like a modern setting.
Right.
Like, if you live in a city apartment,
Mm-hmm.
you might not have a garden,
Right?
but you can still create a space that feels connected to the natural world.
Absolutely.
With these tools.
And that leads us to how green witches approach their homes. It's not quite the image that pops into mind when you think witch's house, is it?
No, not at all. I'm picturing like cobwebs and cauldrons.
Right.
So how do How does a green witch actually approach their living space?
The source material emphasizes a clean and harmonious home environment,
Okay.
not just for aesthetics, but as like a foundation of their practice. It's about, fostering a sense of peace and balance, a place where you can really connect with those natural energies.
So it's about cultivating that connection both within yourself and within your surroundings.
Exactly. They have this idea of the home as a microcosm
Okay.
of the natural world.
Yeah.
And keeping it clean and balanced is a way of honoring that connection. Does that make sense?
It totally does.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about how we often compartmentalize our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Work, home, nature. But this seems to weave those elements together.
That's a great observation. Yeah, it seems to blur those lines and sees that interconnectedness of it all. And that interconnectedness is also evident in how green witches work with the elements.
Okay, the book goes into detail about earth, air, fire, and water. But how do they actually interact with them? It's not like they can just conjure up a rainstorm, right?
Right. It's less about controlling the elements and more about aligning with their energies.
Okay.
The source suggests practices like feeling their presence in your hands.
Oh,
Visualizing them.
okay.
And even keeping a journal to track how they show up
Okay.
in your life.
That's interesting. So it's a lot about personal experience and observation, almost like building a relationship with them.
Yes, and it's also about recognizing how they manifest in your environment.
Okay.
They say that the location of natural features
Yeah.
can influence how a green witch associates them with directions.
Oh, wow.
For example, if you live near a large body of water, that might become your west and influence how you work with the element of water.
So it's a very personalized approach,
Yes.
adapting the practice to your own surroundings.
Uh-huh. It's not one size fits all.
It's not one size fits all. and that really ties into another aspect that stood out to me, which is the emphasis on the seasons.
Right. And it's not just about celebrating solstices and equinoxes.
Yeah, it seems deeper than that. What's their take on that?
It emphasizes observing the natural cycles of your environment to determine when a season truly begins for you,
Okay.
rather than just going by the calendar. So that might be when, certain flowers bloom,
Yeah. Yeah.
or when the birds migrate,
Yeah.
or when the temperature, shifts. It's very intuitive.
So it's about paying close attention to those subtle changes and recognizing the rhythms of your own local environment.
Exactly. And they even have seasonal meditations.
Wow.
Where you visualize connecting with the Earth's energy
Okay.
during each equinox
Yeah.
and solstice. It's a way to tap into that cyclical nature of life.
I love that. It's like honoring that natural ebb and flow throughout the year.
Speaking of energy, the book is packed with ways green witches work with natural energies in a very practical sense.
Oh, cool.
What about that sparked your curiosity?
Well, I'm really interested in how they use plants and flowers. It mentions herbal infusions, decoctions, tinctures, essential oils.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
a whole world of possibilities there, it seems like.
There really is. It's all about harnessing the specific properties
Right.
of plants for different purposes, like making a calming chamomile tea
Yeah.
before bed,
Yeah.
or using rosemary essential oil to enhance focus.
Yeah. And they even mentioned making spell bags, right?
They do.
Those seem so versatile.
They can be for for protection,
Right.
for attracting prosperity,
Okay.
even for influencing dreams.
Wow.
And speaking of dreams, they also suggest making dream pillows
Oh, right. Yeah.
filled with specific herbs to enhance sleep.
Okay, now I'm getting crafty.
Uh-huh.
And, since we're talking about plants and herbs, I have to ask about the garden. You mentioned that you're interested in gardening,
Yeah.
and this has a whole section dedicated to creating a green witch's garden.
It does. And it's not just about aesthetics. The
Yeah.
garden is seen as a sacred space, a place to connect with nature and cultivate a deeper understanding of its cycles.
What about those of us who live in urban environments?
Right.
Can we still create that connection?
Absolutely. The book addresses those challenges that urban green witches face,
Right.
and it offers solutions like balcony gardens,
Okay.
window boxes, and even community gardens.
Oh, cool.
It's all about finding ways to bring that element of nature
Yep.
into your life no matter where you live.
So it's adaptable even to a city lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that adaptability seems to be a key theme throughout all of this, wouldn't you say?
I completely agree. Green witchcraft seems to be about finding your own unique way to connect with nature
Yeah,
and weaving that connection into every aspect of your life.
that's amazing.
And speaking of weaving, the book talks about crafting your own magical tools.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that. What kind of DIY magic are we talking about?
One of the most interesting projects is making your own broom.
Okay.
But not just any broom. It's crafted from branches and twigs
Oh, wow.
that you gather from your local area.
Okay, that's taking it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
What's the significance of using local materials?
It's all about harnessing the energy of your specific location. You know, you're literally imbuing the tool with the energy of the place you live.
That makes total sense. It's
Yeah.
like creating a tool that's uniquely tuned to your personal practice and your connection to the land.
Exactly, and it's not just brooms. The book also talks about crafting spell bags, dream pillows, and even garden charms
Okay.
designed to protect your plant.
The garden charms sound intriguing. Are they similar to those power bags we discussed?
Similar, but instead of carrying them around, you place them outside
Oh, okay.
to interact with the elements.
Gotcha.
You know,
Okay.
so they might be filled with protective herbs
Okay.
to safeguard your plants.
So like burying a charm filled with herbs next to my prize-winning tomatoes.
Exactly, and you'd want to use natural materials
Right.
that will break down over time,
Yeah.
allowing that charm to kind of return to the earth.
Oh, I love that. It speaks to that whole cycle of life and decay.
Yeah.
That's so central to all of this. What other DIY magic projects are we missing out on?
Well, there's making magical balms and perfumes
Okay.
with essential oils
Right.
for purposes like promoting relaxation or attracting abundance. They even have a recipe for prosperity balm.
Woo.
Imagine putting a little dab behind your ears before an important meeting.
It's like incorporating magic into your self-care routine. Now, what about crystals? Those seem like they'd be a big part of this.
They do have a place, but they're not the primary focus. The book suggests choosing crystals based on your own personal connection
Okay.
to their energy, rather than just relying on traditional interpretations. It encourages you to feel a crystal's energy and see if it resonates with you.
Yeah. So that's all about that personal connection, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
The book also mentions this interesting concept called stepping stone spell. Have you heard of that?
No, but it sounds intriguing.
It's a way to create a magically charged step-less stone
Okay.
for your garden,
Uh-huh.
using concrete, crystals, and protective herbs.
Wait, you're telling me we're mixing cement and crystals now?
You got it. It blends the grounding energy of Earth with the protective and enhancing properties
Yeah.
of crystals and herbs. It's a really hands-on creative project.
I'm adding that to my must-try list for sure. And speaking of must-tries, we can't forget those amazing bath recipes that it mentions.
Oh yes, those sound so luxurious and magically potent. What caught your eye there?
Well, they have instructions for making your own bath salts by blending Epsom salts with herbs and essential oils,
Mm-hmm.
tailored for relaxation,
Okay.
for purification,
Yeah.
or even attracting love.
Imagine soaking in a tub infused with lavender and chamomile, and for an extra touch of luxury, they suggest adding a muslin bag filled with fresh herbs to the bath water.
I'm already feeling more relaxed just thinking about it. And you mentioned milk baths earlier.
Right.
Those sounded amazing.
They're especially good for relaxing and soothing the skin.
Okay.
There's even a recipe for spring dawn bath using powdered milk and rose petals.
Okay, I'm officially booking myself a spa day at home.
Mhm.
Sounds like green witches really know how to incorporate magic and intention into their self-care routines.
Absolutely. And for an extra touch, they remind you to empower the water itself
Okay.
with a blessing
Gotcha.
before getting in. It's
Yeah.
about finding those little ways to infuse every aspect
Yeah.
of your life
Yeah.
with intention.
This deep dive has been incredible. I'm so fascinated by how green witchcraft seems to weave like magic and intention into everything. Even something as simple as taking a bath.
It's all about that awareness and connection to the natural world, even in the most ordinary moments.
Yeah.
And speaking of connections, the book dedicates a whole section to the cycles of the sun and moon. It's not just about, whipping up a salad. There's like a real art to it.
Okay.
The book describes how green witches approach food as a way to harness the energies of the ingredients. It's kind of like cooking with intention.
So it's more than just sustenance.
Yeah.
They're actually thinking about the energetic properties of what they're eating.
Right. The book has a whole chapter dedicated to green witch kitchen recipes.
Yeah.
And it dives into recipes tailored for specific purposes.
Wow.
For example, they've got recipes for smoothies meant to boost energy.
Okay.
And soups made with herbs that have healing properties.
Okay, so it's like if I want to feel energized, I'd reach for a specific recipe that incorporates ingredients known for their, invigorating properties.
Exactly. And they even have a recipe for herb peasant bread.
Okay.
That's supposed to promote prosperity and stability.
Herbed peasant bread.
Yeah.
That sounds both delicious and magically potent. What kind of herbs are we talking about here?
Well, the book actually includes an appendix.
Oh, cool.
Listing the magical associations of different natural ingredients.
Okay.
From herbs and flowers to trees and stones. It's like a green witch's encyclopedia.
That's so cool. I can imagine spending hours poring over that.
Yeah.
So let's say I want to whip up something for a friend who needs a little extra luck. What kind of ingredients would I look for?
The book associates cinnamon with success. So maybe you could bake them a cinnamon swirl cake. And remember we talked about candying flowers earlier?
Yes.
They could add a touch of beauty and magic to the presentation.
That's such a thoughtful and creative way to incorporate intention into something as simple as baking. And what about drinks? Are there any magical concoctions in the beverage department?
Oh, absolutely. They have a whole section on crafting herbal teas.
Oh, nice.
For everything from relaxation to boosting your immune system.
I could see how brewing a cup of tea could become like a ritual in itself.
Yeah.
Carefully selecting the herbs, infusing them with intention.
Right.
And then sipping on that energy.
Exactly. And you can even make those fancy fruit and flower infused waters.
Right.
So, picture a pitcher of sparkling water with rose geranium for a summer gathering.
Okay, now I'm getting thirsty. It sounds like there's a real art to this kind of kitchen magic.
There is. The book emphasizes approaching cooking with mindfulness and intention. It's not just about, throwing ingredients together. It's about connecting with their energy.
Yeah.
And infusing the food with positive vibes.
This is making me want to completely rethink my whole approach to cooking.
Yeah.
It's like transforming your kitchen into a magical laboratory.
And speaking of transforming things, there's a section on making your own vinegars and infused sugars.
Oh, wow.
Imagine having a pantry stocked with those magical concoctions.
My grocery list just keeps getting longer.
Yeah.
So we've covered meals and drinks, but what about other ways that green witches bring this nature magic into their homes?
Well, you mentioned being interested in crafting magical tools.
Yes.
The book has some really cool DIY projects.
Okay.
That blend, traditional witchcraft with a green witch's love for natural materials.
Okay, what kind of projects are we talking about? I'm ready to get crafty.
They have instructions for making your own broom, using branches and twigs gathered from your local area.
Okay, that's next level crafting.
Yeah.
What's the significance of using materials found specifically in your own environment?
It's all about harnessing the energy of your geographic location.
Okay.
You're essentially imbuing the tool with the energy of the place you live.
That makes total sense. It's like creating a tool that's uniquely tuned to your personal practice and your connection to the land.
Exactly. And it's not just brooms. The book also talks about crafting spell bags, dream pillows, and even garden charms.
Okay.
Designed to protect your plants.
The garden charms sound intriguing. Are they similar to those power bags we discussed?
It's similar, but instead of carrying them around, you place them outside.
Oh, okay.
To interact with the elements.
Gotcha.
So they might be filled with protective herbs.
Okay.
to safeguard your plants.
So like burying a charm filled with herbs next to my prize-winning tomatoes.
Exactly. And you'd want to use natural materials
Right.
that will, break down over time,
Okay.
allowing that charm to kind of return to the earth.
Oh, I love that. It speaks to that whole cycle of life and decay that's so central to all of this.
Yeah.
What other DIY magic projects are we missing out on?
Well, there's making magical balms and perfumes with essential oils
Right.
for purposes like promoting relaxation or attracting abundance. They even have a recipe for prosperity balm. Imagine putting a little dab behind your ears before an important meeting.
It's like incorporating magic into your self-care routine. Now, what about crystals? Those seem like they'd be a big part of this.
They do have a place, but they're not the primary focus.
Okay.
The book suggests choosing crystals based on your own personal connection to their energy rather than just relying on traditional interpretations. It encourages you to feel a crystal's energy and see if it resonates with you.
Yeah. It's all about that personal connection, isn't it?
It really is. The book also mentions this interesting concept called a stepping stone spell. Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah.
But it sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
It's a way to create a magically charged stepping stone for your garden
Okay.
using concrete, crystals, and protective herbs.
Wait, you're telling me we're mixing cement and crystals now?
It got it. It
Yeah.
blends the grounding energy of earth with the protective and enhancing properties of crystals and herbs.
Yeah.
It's a really hands-on creative project.
I'm adding that to my must-try list for sure. And speaking of must-tries, we can't forget those amazing bath recipes that it mentions.
Oh yes, those sound so luxurious and magically potent. What caught your eye there?
Well, they have instructions for making your own bath salts by blending Epsom salts with herbs and essential oils, tailored for relaxation, purification, or even attracting love.
Imagine soaking in a tub infused with lavender and chamomile. And for an extra touch of luxury, they suggest adding a muslin bag filled with fresh herbs to the bathwater.
I'm already feeling more relaxed just thinking about it. And you mentioned milk baths earlier.
Right.
Those sounded amazing.
They're especially good for relaxing and soothing the skin.
Okay.
There's even a recipe for a spring dawn bath using powdered milk and reese petals.
Okay, I'm officially booking myself a spa day at home. It sounds like green witches really know how to incorporate magic and intention into their self-care routines.
Absolutely. And for an extra touch, they remind you to empower the water itself
Okay.
with a blessing.
Gotcha. Got it.
Before getting in. It's about finding those little ways to infuse every aspect of your life with intention.
Yeah.
You
This deep dive has been incredible. I'm so fascinated by how green witchcraft seems to weave like magic and intention into everything. Even something as simple as taking a bath.
It's all about that awareness and connection to the natural world, even in the most ordinary moments.
Yeah.
And speaking of connections, the book dedicates a whole section to the cycles of the sun and the moon.
It's interesting how green witchcraft seems to like draw on so much ancient wisdom and apply it to modern life. What does the book say about the sun and the moon?
It talks about how green witches recognize the influence these celestial bodies have
Yeah.
on the natural world.
Okay.
And try to align their practices accordingly.
So it's not about worshiping the sun or moon as deities.
Right.
But like understanding their cycles and how they impact us.
Right. It's about recognizing the energy associated with each one.
Okay.
For example, the source material connects the sun's energy with things like power, success, and even joy.
Wow. So it sounds like there's a lot of positive energy associated with the sun.
Yeah.
How would a green witch go about like harnessing that?
They suggest simple practices like spending time in the sunshine
Okay.
to absorb its energy.
Right.
There's also a guided meditation
Oh, wow.
in the book where you visualize connecting with the sun
Yeah.
and receiving its warmth and energy.
That sounds pretty powerful.
Yeah.
What about the moon? What sort of energy does it associate with that?
It links the moon to things like feminine energy,
Okay.
dreams, psychic abilities, and even transformation.
Okay.
It's a bit more introspective than the sun's energy.
So the moon's energy is more about like inner work and exploring the deeper aspects of ourselves.
Exactly. And just like the sun, the moon has its own cycles. The source material stresses the importance of working with the different phases of the moon, understanding how its energy ebbs and flows throughout the month.
So a green witch might plant seeds, like during a new moon, for new beginnings,
Right.
or perform a ritual during a full moon,
Right.
to release things that they no longer need.
It's all about tapping into those natural rhythms and understanding how they can impact our lives.
This deep dive has been eye-opening. I knew a little about green witchcraft, but I had no idea how intricate and complex it actually is. It's more than just herbs and spells.
Yeah.
It's like a whole way of life.
It really is a fascinating blend of ancient wisdom and modern practices, all focused on connecting with nature.
After looking at all this material, I'm really drawn to the idea that we're not separate from nature. We're part of it, and this seems to highlight that interconnectedness. It makes me want to get outside more, feel the earth, and just like soak it all in.
That's one of the beautiful things about green witchcraft. It's accessible to anyone who wants to deepen their connection with nature. You don't need fancy tools or complicated rituals. You just need an open mind and heart. Well said.
So for anyone listening who's feeling inspired to explore this path, what's one simple thing they could do today to connect with nature in a more meaningful way?
I'd say start by simply observing the natural world around you.
Okay.
Take a walk in a park, notice the trees, listen to the birds, feel the sun on your skin. It's those small moments of connection that can make all the difference.
And the book mentions a green witch's oath. And while we won't give it away, it beautifully sums up the values we've been discussing.
It's a powerful statement of intention for anyone looking to walk this path.
Absolutely. So for anyone listening, what aspect of green witchcraft spoke to you the most? What little step can you take today to bring a little more nature magic into your life?